Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Laredo Independent School Board of Trustees, Public Facility Corporation Board of Directors. This is our regular meeting for the month of June. Today is Wednesday the 10th. It is 5:30 at this time. We're meeting at the Amber Yeary Boardroom, 1620 Houston. Roll call, please, Mr. Garza.
Yes, sir. Mr. Jesus Martinez.
Present.
Mr. Jose Valdez.
Present.
Mr. Ricardo Garza, present. Mr. Hector Niola. Dr. Cecilia May Moreno.
Present.
Mr. Hector Garcia.
Present.
Mr. Jose R. Perez.
Present.
Wonderful. Thank you. We'll have Ms. Castellon, would you lead us into the proceedings?
Thank you, Mr. Martinez, board members, and Dr. Nelson. Tonight, LISD pays tribute to a member of the community who is still actively serving in the armed forces and protecting our freedoms. The Instructional Television Department, under the direction of Jeanette Martinez, has produced a video recognizing LISD police officer Humberto Frausto, who served with the United States Army for 3.5 years and is still serving his country as a member of the Texas Army National Guard. Lights, please.
The Laredo Independent School District recognizes the veterans who proudly and valiantly served in the military. Freedom is not free, so we pay tribute to our local veterans. Today, we recognize a member of the Laredo ISD Police Department and a proud veteran, Mr. Humberto Frausto, Jr. He is a 3.5-year active duty veteran of the United States Army. He achieved the rank of E4 Specialist while being active with the United States Army. He served active duty during Operation Iraqi Freedom.
We went in February 2004. That same year, around November, towards December, there was a ceremony where we earned our CIBs. The CIB is the Combat Infantry Badge, and that means that at a time of war, we engaged on the enemy or they engaged at us. And the only way to get that is if you're in combat. So when we got that, that was pretty memorable to me.
He has also been in the reserve for the Texas Army National Guard for 10 years now.
When I got out as an E4 specialist, I decided that I wanted to still continue to carry the tradition of being in the armed forces. Since I was infantry, the Texas Army National Guard has infantry. So I decided, and especially here in hometown, so Bravo Company, 3rd Battalion of the 141, I decided to join in and continue serving. There I got promoted to sergeant and then now a staff sergeant, which is an E6.
Mr. Frausto has currently re-enlisted for 6 more years with the Texas Army National Guard. He tells us why it is important to serve in the military.
There's so many things that you can gain being in the military. For one, become a better person, builds character, kind of gives you a guidance of what you want to do in life. Even if you serve for a little bit and get out, you're going to carry those traits anywhere you go. You know, and in your employment or whatever you dedicate yourself to, I think the military is going to provide you that. So it's very important to use that as a tool to succeed in life.
Humberto Frausto Jr. has worked with the Laredo ISD Police Department for 8 years, and he is currently a sergeant with the force. He and his wife Nancy are proud parents of 2 young boys, Humberto Frausto III and Hunter Nathan. Mr. Frausto says 3 words that describe him are loyal, honor, and commitment.
Loyal. I am loyal. I'm loyal to my brothers and sisters in combat, in peacetime as well. Honor. I am when you're in the uniform, you know, you pretty much represent not only the country, but you represent where you come from, and I represent my family. So that's honor that I represent to my family. And commitment, you have to commit yourself to what you're doing 110%.
Sergeant Frausto has dedicated more than a decade of his life to the U.S. Army and the Texas Army National Guard, and he will continue to do so, as his goal is to become a lifer, reaching 20 years of service. Mr. Humberto Frausto Jr., LISD proudly salutes you for serving our country and protecting our freedom.
Sergeant Frausto, LISD thanks you for putting your life on the line for this country and for your community. Would you please honor us by leading the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sergeant Frausto. As we approach Flag Day, which is this Saturday, I ask that you please remain standing for the national anthem, which will be performed this evening by Ms. Jasmine Hines under the direction of Lamar Middle School Choir teacher Stephanie Solis. Ms. Jasmine.
Oh, gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you for that beautiful national anthem. Jasmine is an incoming freshman at Nixon High School, and she'll also be attending the Vidal M. Trevino School of Communications and Fine Arts. May I continue with the special observances?
Yes,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
sir.
Ms. Castellon.
Under special observances, Alma Diana Perez Laurel passed away on May the 27th. She was a choir director at Lamar Middle School and later became a special education teacher at Milton and Ryan Elementary Schools until her retirement in the year 2000. Also, Ernesto Cantu died on May the 28th. He worked at Sanchez Ochoa Elementary School as a custodian through 2004. LISD sends its sincerest condolences to the Laurel and Cantu families. Mr. Martinez, may I continue with the board recognitions?
Yes, please.
Thank you. This evening, we are recognizing 12 outstanding Laredoans, several students who excelled in academics, 6 tech-savvy teachers, and 4 students with perfect attendance from kinder through graduation day. We begin by recognizing 12 outstanding Laredoans who were named to the Texas Association of School Boards statewide 2015 Media Honor Roll for reporting the educational issues of Laredo's youth. The Media Honor Roll recognizes media representatives statewide for fair and balanced reporting of news about public education. Named to the Media Honor Roll this year are, from KGNS TV, our morning show anchor, Ms. Noraida Negron. And we're going to ask our Media Honor Roll inductees to please stay up front also for a group shot. Following Noraida, our sports director for KGNS, Mr. Ryan Bailey. Also named to the Media Honor Roll from KGNS multimedia journalist, Mr. James Johnson. Also from KGNS multimedia journalist, Christian von Preysing. They're working at the newscast as we speak, but we'll send their awards along with Ryan and Noraida. From the Laredo Morning Times, and she's no stranger to us, Ms. Judy Rayo, education reporter. We are also recognizing the sports reporter from the Laredo Morning Times, Ms. Clara Sandoval. From KLDO TV, videographer Sam de la Garza. From KLDO Univision, we also have production manager, Mr. Teo Garcia. Also with KLDO, videographer Elsa de Leon. For el periódico El Mañana, we're also recognizing el señor Francisco Paco Díaz. And last but certainly not least, we are recognizing Mr. Gregorio Goyo Lopez from KHOY Radio and Mercy Ministries. And now, folks, if we can have you gather closer. And Ryan, I think you'll make your deadline. Congratulations to our Media Honor Roll inductees. And now we are recognizing 10 outstanding LISD students who participated in the 2015 Duke University Talent Identification Programs for 4th and 6th grade talent search. These 4th and 6th grade students achieved a qualifying score at or above the 95th percentile on a recent grade level test. So today we are honoring from Daiquis Elementary School, Esteban Flores. Esteban, and joining the students from Daiquis is their vice principal, Ms. Kathy De Leon also. We are also honoring from Daiquis Elementary, Ms. Cynthia Moreno. Also from Daiquis, Gael Sanchez. And from Daiquis, Arthur Terrence. And now we also have some honorees from J.C. Martin Elementary School. They are Jonathan Balderas from J.C. Martin. With Jonathan is his school principal, Ms. Delma Alanis Ramos, principal of J.C. Martin. Next we have from J.C. Martin, Brian Benavides. And joining Jonathan and Brian are Juliet Nava, also of J.C. Martin. Also recognized is Eileen De Leon, J.C. Martin Elementary. Also earning top scores in the Duke University Talent Search, Christian Garza. And also from J.C. Martin, we have Valeria Garza. Up next, we are pleased to recognize 6 innovative teachers for being named tech-savvy teachers. These educators display innovation and effectiveness in enhancing the learning process for students using technology in their classrooms.
The tradition of finding the most technologically innovative teachers in the Laredo Independent School District continues as the district's technology and curriculum and instruction departments come together to recognize tech-savvy educators. In the fall of this 2014-2015 school year, 6 teachers were recognized as tech-savvy teachers, and now it's time to recognize our 6 tech-savvy teachers for the spring semester. In elementary, our 2 tech-savvy teachers are Mr. Cesar Hernandez and Mr. Rogelio Saucedo. Mr. Cesar Hernandez is a 5th grade science teacher from Leindecker Elementary School. Mr. Hernandez is an innovative teacher that has flipped his classroom and allows his students to lead their learning by allowing them to be self-directed. While at J.C. Martin Elementary, we have Mr. Rogelio Saucedo. Mr. Saucedo is a math teacher who allows his students to utilize their Promethean board as well as clickers for multiple choice answers. Students also enjoy using their interactive smart table during activities. For our middle schools, the 2 teachers who received tech-savvy recognition are Ms. Silvia Guevara and Mr. Fernando Olivier. Ms. Silvia Guevara is a science teacher from L.J. Kristen Middle School. Her students use Today's Meet for journaling and for classroom discussions. Students in her class also use Socrative, allowing for instant informal assessment at a moment's notice. Our second middle school tech-savvy teacher is Mr. Fernando Olivier, a science teacher from L.J. Christian Middle School. His students use Socrative to take a quiz on metals, non-metals, and metalloids, which provided him instant feedback on student learning. Lastly, we have our 2 high school tech-savvy teachers, Mr. Jorge Mendoza and Mr. Rodolfo Malacara. Mr. Jorge Mendoza is from the Laredo Early College High School. Mr. Mendoza takes advantage of many applications, including Edmodo, which offers both teachers and students an online forum for sharing lessons and ideas. Over at J.W. Nixon High School, Mr. Malacara is a science teacher that utilizes online textbook tools for student lessons. Students also use Nearpod to take quizzes, which provide instant feedback on student learning. Congratulations to our spring semester tech-savvy teachers, the Laredo Independent School District, teaching, learning, innovating since 1882.
So we'd like to bring up forward our tech-savvy teachers tonight, Cesar Hernandez of Leindecker Elementary School. From Kristen Middle School, Ms. Silvia Guevara. From the Early College High School, Mr. Jorge Mendoza. From J.C. Martin Elementary School, Rogelio Saucedo. From Christian Middle School, Fernando Olivier. And from Nixon High School, Rodolfo Malacara. And now we can have all the recipients come join us at the center. Our tech-savvy teachers, congratulations. And now we are bringing attention to 4 graduating seniors who had perfect attendance throughout their entire education at LISD. This means they never missed a day of school, and they scheduled all their doctors and dental appointments after school hours the way they're supposed to. From pre-kinder through June the 5th, 2015, these incredible kids attended 2,340 days of instruction without interruption. The 4 seniors today are Alejandro Moreno of J.W. Nixon High School. From the Early College High School, Jorge Armando Cavazos. Also from the Early College High School, Ms. Maria Guadalupe Sanchez. And finally, from the Early College High School, Ms. Vanessa Vela. Perfect attendance for 12, 13, 14 years. Oh my goodness. We thank you and your parents for putting education first. Congratulations. And that concludes tonight's board recognitions.
Sí.
No lo había visto.
Sí, they forgot to ask the parents. So.
I'll take a little break, I guess. Tengo un pie malo, por eso me gusta estar mucho parado.
Okay,
He was here for the meeting.
couple of minutes recess while we
And I was remembering you.
recuperate.
All those good old days.
Thank you.
I know.
Have a great evening.
Hey, that came out of my discretionary. It came out of my discretionary. Not out of yours. Cancel the camera or something.
If he tries to
Probably que se meta.
policy says you have to sign up with a meeting. So we can shut him down and say if you want to refer to me and say Mr. Casey and say, well, you know, the board can decide, but that would be it would be a violation of our policy if he doesn't sign up.
¿Cómo estás, Joe?
He can come back next month, basically.
Okay.
But he's not here to speak.
He's out there.
Huh?
He's out there. Oh, yeah, he just
Hector had another meeting today. thing. She was going to try to make it, but it was difficult. Board of Directors of the Boys Club, parece. Sing. Ricky? Nobody signed up? Okay. Okay, wonderful. Is that the guy? Good job. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if security is aware.
Yeah. I'm just gonna announce that there's nobody.
Doesn't help.
That was.
Hopefully it'll go fast.
We'll continue with the meeting at this time.
Mr. President, there's nobody signed up for the public forum comments, so we can proceed.
Okay, Board Communications, Mr. Garcia.
Thanks, bro.
I want to make sure that all our kids are safe this summer. If you're drinking a lot of water, it's going to be a hot summer. Or you can read a book, read 2 books. And look forward to seeing you all in all this. Right now. Okay, there it goes. Thank you.
Mr. Garza.
I want to echo Mr. Garcia's sentiments right now. I'd like to also thank and congratulate everybody that had something to do with the graduations. Great job on that. They moved along smoothly. I think we had more kids graduating this year than last year, and I think that's the goal, is to keep it growing. And as I did last year around this time, I'd ask that all the staff, all the employees, and everybody hone in on their strengths and figure out what their weaknesses are, and figure out how we're going to get better next year. I'm certainly going to do that and figure out how well we did, and push everybody to go 110%. Thank you.
Mr. Perez.
Yes, I just want to congratulate Mr. Frausto for being honored this time around as a veteran. I want to congratulate the teachers that were outstanding this evening, all the students that got recognized, especially those that were present throughout 4 years of school, and wishing all the teachers and administrators to re-energize their batteries, because these batteries is die-hard batteries, so don't let it get out of hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perez. Dr. Moreno?
Yes, I too want to say that I felt the graduations had gone really well. There was so many people that were so proud of their children, and the students were so well behaved. All the graduations just went really smooth. Everybody seemed to honor what graduation represents, and it was a pretty important thing for the parents and for the students, and that is definitely a good thing to have. I also want to say that we have summer school has already started, and let's hope that our staff is monitoring the enrollment so that if there are students that are supposed to be in summer school and they're not there. We're looking for them. We don't want to just assume that they didn't come and that was the end of that. We need to use what little time we have during the summer, because it seems like a long time, but it is really a very brief period of time, to prepare for next year and to start looking at what did we learn from this year that we can improve our performance for next year. Thank you.
Mr. Valdez?
Oh, I don't know. I will unleash my words of wisdom at a later date.
Throughout the meeting. Also, I just want to thank all the staff, administrators, and teachers on the job that you all did this year in graduating all those kids that graduated. It was so proud to see them coming in through the line and getting their diploma and becoming young adults, and hoping that they all will go to college or will go to a vocational program or do something worthwhile with their lives, which I will feel that they will be doing. So thank you all the staff and faculty for their job well done, and looking forward for next year to doing better and to plan new ideas within our district so the kids can become better prepared as they become young adults.
Mr. Martinez, when you finish,
Yes,
I want to add something else.
Dr. Moreno, go ahead, please.
Yes, I also want to add that we need to try to graduate more students in August, okay? And so I hope somebody's looking at those 5 or 10 or 15 students that didn't graduate and finding all kinds of creative ways that they can meet their requirements and we can have them graduate in August.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Nelson, item number 1.
Thank you, Mr. President. That brings us to the consent agenda. We're recommending approval on items 1 and 2. The
Motion to approve 1 and 2.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve item 1 and 2. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nobody opposed. The items carry.
Vote to approve items 3A to 3C, amendments.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved that we approve items 3A to 3C. And it's been seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Item
opposed.
4A through
Item 3 passes. Thank you.
Oh, 1 second, Mr. President. On, if I may.
Yes, Dr. Nelson.
Item number B. 3A. The adjustment is actually it's a $1,000 difference. We have,
There's a typo.
it'll be $25,617. We're asking for permission to take an ad out to support and recognize our neighboring school district's baseball team that's going to state. And so we're using discretionary funds donated by Mr. Hector Garcia.
Okay, going back to item 3A.
Yes.
It's been recommended that we approve 3A with a change.
I'll second that.
And it's been seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nobody opposes. The item carries as changed.
Vote to approve 4A through 4Q.
Second.
Okay, it moves in second to
P.
Q.
Q.
4Q.
Okay. Item 4A through 4Q. Okay, all the 4 items have been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Nobody opposes. The item passes.
Move to approve the tax refunds 5A through 5G.
Second.
We move to approve the tax refunds as proposed and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? No one opposes. All in favor, please. The item passes. Thank you.
Move to approve items number 6, 10 of other consent items.
Item K.
6 through 10.
6 through 10?
Right.
Okay, hold on. It's been, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, then we'll second. Any discussion?
This is a real, it's not on here. No. I'll talk to you later. But okay.
Okay, it's moved and seconded from 6 through 10. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Nobody opposes. Item carries. Items 6 through 10 carry.
Dress code. When is that coming?
Regular agenda items.
That brings us to the regular agenda, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Item number 11 is sponsored by the Honorable Jose Pettis, and it reads, discussion and possible action to proceed with the remodeling and construction of the Civic Center complex as previously approved by the board. Mr. Pettis?
Yes, I move to approve that since we already approved it.
Second.
And that
Some discussion?
that puts the tennis courts within the four corners, right?
It's not included there. Oh, this is I'm sorry. We're on the item of discussion. You have a
That's
question?
what I'm asking. Legal advice on it.
Okay.
Mr. President.
Dr. Nelson?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, Mr. Pettis and I, along with several other board members, have had an opportunity to visit about this project. What I would like to propose in the interest of transparency and teamwork is that we schedule a workshop for July 18th where we finalize the master plan for the Civic Center and make a decision, if necessary, possibly on an architect. The way the agenda item is currently written, really the first thing to do is to decide what all will be done with the master plan. And there have been different actions taken as written, but there has not been any final action, for example, about the tennis courts. What we need to do first is decide on an architect and then give the architect the summary of our ideas and plans so that they can bring that to the board. So we'd like to table, I'm not saying table, but we're asking for no action until July 18th, and we'll schedule a workshop with action.
Do you accept that, Mr. Pettis?
Well, I don't know. We've been here for a long time, but
we've been pushing
what I
this
want
over
is
and
just to proceed. And if that is one of the procedures to go through, that's fine.
Why don't we just approve it and get the workshop afterwards?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, we have some discussion?
It's already been discussed. Second.
Let me ask you this. Say, it says here, previously approved by the board. Have you got a copy of the agenda item and the minutes when we approved this?
I have a copy.
Dr. Nelson.
We don't have any approval of anything.
Really, the final design of the Civic Center complex has never been approved by the board. There are no minutes to suggest.
So the item cannot be addressed, and in other words, we will be dealing with the issue that is being presented, okay? But we cannot deal with it the way it is written here, but we will be dealing with the issue in general. Yes, we will be dealing with that project, but the item has never been approved by this board. We have discussed it several times. Perhaps has mixed things up a little, but there has never been an agenda item, and there are no minutes.
So
there is, if you don't mind, there is minutes that say that we approve that the tennis courts be within the four corners.
No, we have
I
not.
got a copy of it. They send it to all the board members that we already approved it. Now the design, you're right. There's no design on it. There's none of that. But that were built within the four corners, it's in writing. It was voted, and everybody voted unanimous on that.
We voted on the discussion of it.
Let him bring proof of that. Because we had two votes.
When we approved the funding for the bond issue, we said it would be remodeling and reconstruction. And that's all this is. It doesn't say.
But we don't know exactly what we're going to remodel and what we're going to
That's right.
reconstruct.
That's the next step.
Okay, the next step is to have a workshop.
The motion and the
So we
second,
can know
they're
what,
off of the question.
I know, but we're
That would be
discussing
the
it.
next step, to decide exactly what.
Right.
I know.
The item says to proceed, so I think you're correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
We proceed to the 18th.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're
we're
correct.
going to the 18th.
We proceed, that's fine.
Call for the question.
Call for the question.
Okay, call for the question. Está bien.
Okay, can we repeat the motion as it was stated, please?
Wait, is there?
Okay. The action is to
We have
proceed,
possible action to proceed.
and the
We're
next-
just going
and
to
the next
proceed.
step
We
is
have
the
no
next
action at all in proceeding.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do.
We're going to proceed.
The
With
superintendent will go
remodeling.
ahead.
But what are we going to
and
do? We
start.
don't have any.
That's
still
the
need-
next
we
step
still need
is
to vote on this.
The
think-
next step is to decide what.
I don't, if I may, Mr. Chairman, then
Yes.
my understanding would be that it would be the motion to proceed with the remodeling and construction of the Civic Center complex as previously approved by the board, would be to then have a special call, not a workshop or a special call meeting on July 18th, in which the design and the plans will be discussed, and then to have an item. I think the next step might be to hire an architect. Now, I don't know, I defer to administration, but if that is, then whatever items are necessary for the board to discuss that at the next board meeting on July 18th.
And I think if you look into...
So we proceed to a time certain?
Yeah, because I think if you look at the minutes also, because there are two sets of them, and I do have them. One, when we approved the bond that we said that we're going to do reconstruction, well, there's two of them, that we're going to do the remodeling of that, which we didn't decide what we're going to do there, one. Secondly, when we decided what we're going to do within the four corners, that can change at the workshop. But what this is that the next one, we're going to go forward to the next step. That's what we need to do. Okay. Because it's been on a hold up and hold up and hold up and hold up. Yeah. So, as I call for the question.
Mr. Yes, well, this.
I think the discussion centered on the tennis courts.
The whole thing.
See, well, if I remember, on the tennis courts, you know, on the four corners, you're correct, on the four corners. And we discussed that. And then, of course, we also considered the purchasing of property and what have you. But yes, we did on the four corners. Now, we held up on that. But see, this also goes into the remodeling and construction of the Civic Center, the building itself. Now, I don't think that we have really discussed that.
No, we're not there yet.
In detail, but then we proceed. We proceed.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
We have to take the next step. We can't even discuss that. So right. we have to act on this so we can move forward.
Está bien.
But just one more thing. Proceed. We're proceeding. Whether we ought to vote, we're still proceeding. Eventually, we're going to get there. Now, if we have a workshop to find out exactly what all the board members want and what ideas we have, then the workshop will be helpful. And then we have a detailed menu as to what we're going to offer the architects and what we're going to do with the Civic Center. Proceed means nothing, really.
Then vote for it.
Then vote for it. Don't vote for it.
Go for it.
I won't.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All those in favor of proceeding?
Aye.
All those opposed? Aye. Okay. Next item on the agenda.
Mr. Martinez, if I'm gonna table mine to the workshop on the 18th.
Oh, yeah, no.
You're talking about item number 12, sir?
Right, because
discussion and possible action to pay plan appeal. Okay, so there's no action on item number 12. Number 13 and 14. Number 13, Dr. Nelson.
That brings us to our internal auditor items. For the record, item number 13 is discussion and update on the duties of the internal auditor, including ongoing audits. Ms. Henry?
Yes. Good evening, Board President, members of the board, Dr. Nelson. The following is my report. In your Friday packet, you received a copy of 2 special request audits. That was Ligarde Elementary for a cheerleading sponsor and Milton Elementary for fundraising. Currently pending is a response as a special request from the Nixon High School principal on band fundraising activities. In progress is a special request on high school fundraising activities, special education department, and ongoing unannounced cash audits.
Dr. Nelson, could we also make sure that training is taking place? Because, you know, we do see on the reports that some procedures don't get followed, but we need the training. So at all of those where we find that procedures aren't, there should be subjected to a certain amount of training.
Yes,
so many hours or so many sessions, not just, yes,
Whether,
I'm going to do it right the next time.
Even for those who are not receiving audits, or especially for those who...
Well, especially for those who are identified as not following the process.
We'll definitely follow up with that, work with the internal auditor.
The training is provided by the finance department, but sometimes they say, well, I wasn't aware. That's normally the typical response that is received.
Right, but if maybe one of the things that they have to do as part of the answer to the audit is that they attend so many hours or so many sessions, and then there's a follow-up. You didn't go. There's a follow-up. You haven't gone yet until they do go.
Okay.
We'll work with finance on that, the internal auditor.
Mr. President, are we going into executive session on the 2 that are completed?
Well, the way that, if I may, Mr. President, If the board has any specific questions about personnel or the people that were involved in the, I want to call it investigation or summary that's been provided to the board, if we want to have discussions about any person or any of the details of the request and how it was followed up, I would recommend that we not discuss that in open session. It's really up to the board. And
I have a couple of questions pending, and I'd like to see if we can go into executive session on those two.
Mr. President, what I'd like to recommend then based on that is that we go ahead and complete item number 14, see if there's any assignments. Right. And if there's none, then we go ahead and read the items that are already scheduled for closed session. And we can do the internal audit item at the beginning and then complete the rest of the items in closed session, then come out and complete the meeting.
Right. I agree.
So item number 14 is discussion and possible action on the duties and responsibilities of the internal auditor as assigned by the Board of Trustees, including the potential assignment of auditing duties. Ms. Henry?
And it's up to the board.
Does any board members have any at this time?
No.
If there's
Not at this particular moment.
Well, then I'd like to recommend.
Rick, do you have a question?
No, it pertains to the two audits that are completed.
Okay,
So
that's something else. Right.
Right.
Okay, nothing in the item number 14 then.
That brings us to our closed session agenda items. So for the record, we'll be doing item number 13 in closed session.
Right.
I want to read it for the record. For the record, it's discussion and update on the duties of the internal auditor, including ongoing audits. Also to be discussed in possible closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, subsection A, subsection 1. Also to be discussed in closed session this evening is item number 15, discussion and possible action regarding the proposed termination of a teacher on continuing contract and other personnel matters, including discussion with legal counsel regarding related legal issues and pending litigation. Possible closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074 and 551.071. And finally, item number 16, discussion and possible action to approve the recommendation to hire the following professional positions. Possible closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, one staff accountant, one director of risk management and safety, one middle school principal, and one telecommunications manager. Recommend closed session, Mr. President.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and move into closed session. Moved and seconded. All approved, say aye. Aye. It is now 6:24. Going into closed session.
Mr. President, I need to be excused at this time.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Perez, for being here with us.
Oh, because they're going to give us an 18, but there's one in reality, so we're going to wait to wait so we won't get any more time trouble.
Very good.
No, sí, pero pues allá fue.
Eso se lo debes a Primo.
Aquí sí, pero allá atrás.
A todo esto. Felicitando, si no más están ellos. Cuando hubieras visto que
I'm going to behave.
Pues por eso.
We're now back from executive session. It is now 7:17. No action was taken. No votes were taken. Dr. Nelson?
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 15, discussion and possible action regarding the proposed termination of a teacher on continuing contract.
Dr. Nelson, Board, I move that we accept the resignation of teacher Santos Rodriguez effective May 21st, 2015, that we rescind the proposed termination of his employment based on his resignation and contingent upon his execution of a release agreement. And we authorize the superintendent to resolve the proposed termination based on terms presented.
Second motion.
The move in second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No? Okay, the motion carries.
Item number 16 is discussion and possible action to approve the recommendation to hire the following professional positions. For accountant, Mr. President, members of the board, I'd like to recommend Raimundo Reyes for the position.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nobody opposed? The motion carries.
The second position that we'd like to recommend for possible action this evening is the position of Director of Risk Management and Safety. Mr. President, I'd like to recommend Mr. Victor Mora for the position.
So moved.
Second?
President can second, okay.
Nobody seconds?
I'll second that.
Yeah, okay, it's been seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No opposition, the motion carries.
The next position is for middle school principal. Mr. President, I'd like to recommend Mr. Jose Certa for the position.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we accept Mr. Cerda as middle school principal. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nobody opposes. Okay, we have a new middle school principal.
Yeah.
Next item.
Final recommendation this evening is for telecommunications manager. Mr. President, I'd like to recommend Mr. Servando Larel for the position.
Laurel.
I'll move. Second on that.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Nobody opposed? Nobody opposes? We have a new telecommunications manager.
Mr. President, we'd also like to recognize several of our teachers from Figueroa Middle School who have taken time out of their schedule to be here for this very special moment in the history of Figueroa Middle School.
Olympic members.
That brings us to communications, Mr. President.
Yes, please.
Good evening once again. Summer schedule has started for our central office. We are open from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and we're closed on Friday. We have a surplus auction this coming Saturday, June the 13th, starting at 11 a.m. at Capco Auctions, located at 2601 Guadalupe. We have a special call meeting planned for Wednesday, June the 17th at 5:30 p.m. here in the Yeri boardroom. And a budget workshop is planned for Thursday, June the 18th at 5:30 here in the boardroom. LISD offices will be closed for summer vacation from July the 1st through July the 10th. Offices will reopen on Monday, July the 13th. Upon our return, we have several meetings. On Monday, July the 13th at 11:30 a.m., we will have a Student Services Committee meeting followed by a Curriculum and Instruction Committee meeting at 5:15 p.m. The following day, Tuesday, July the 14th, we will have an Operations Committee meeting at 11:30 a.m., followed by Business and Support Services Committee meeting at 5:30 p.m. And the regular board meeting is scheduled for Thursday, July 16th at 5:30 p.m. That is all I have. Board members, Dr. Nelson.
Mr. Garcia?
I just wanted to, from behalf of LISD, is wish the UISD baseball team from Alexander the best success of state. They're not only representing UISD and their school, but Laredo as a whole. And on behalf of myself and I believe the rest of the board, administration, and all our kids, we wish them the best in the state competition.
Go.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Garcia. Dr. Nelson, anything else, sir?
No, sir.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.